So we'll move on to the apart from bishop b5, probably the main moves for white are c3 and b4. So we'll move on to those now. C3. This is quite a natural defensive move, which actually threatens knight, which is bringing in the threat of knight d5, as this queen h4 to c4 idea is no longer strong. Example, if white black ways to move. d3 simply covers everything, and black's in a lot of trouble. So black has to come up with something. Probably the best move is one that I briefly mentioned in the tactical videos, and that's knight d4. Also knight b4 might be possible here, but knight d4 I prefer, as it gives white a chance to go slightly wrong, as both these captures are possible. But I feel the c takes d4 is a lot better than e takes, for the reason that after e takes d4, knight f6. This is a very ambitious move. d5 is safer alternative, and black should get a reasonable play, although probably white is slightly better, having the extra piece for a pawn. So the ambitious move is one we'll focus on, knight f6. Now, black's threatening to play knight e4, winning immediately, and knight takes e6, runs into queen e7, with a win for black. To avoid this, probably the best move is knight g6. Queen a4 is a weak move, giving black a huge attack. The b5. Now the queen's under threat and knight e4 is still threatened. So the queen comes out, gaining a tempo on d7. Knight takes e6. So white's grabbed this pawn anyway, and now queen e7 can be met by queen e5. However, after bishop d6, black has a massive attack. Queen h4, queen f6, still hitting h2 and f2. g3 blocking in this bishop is probably advisable, but now bishop f5, and well, there's just so many weak squares here for this bishop to aim at. I don't see any really reasonable defence for white. Queen e7 is still a threat, as well as queen e3. Maybe this bishop can come in. Well, yeah, black has too many ideas. Bishop takes b1, bishop d3. It's going to be horrible. So we go back to knight g6, bishop c5. Black really has to move this bishop, and here it gains a tempo on f2, allowing this knight to hop in. d4, knight g4, f3. Now here, black has a choice. Probably knight f2 is the most complicated option, so we'll take that as the main line. F takes g6 is also interesting as well. Also mentioned knight e3 after this simplifies. Probably the only real ambitious try for white is to take this bishop. d5, and maybe white has any advantage it's going, but it's not going to be too bad for black. I'd prefer not to give white anything at all and go for one of these more interesting tries. F takes g6. Maybe a reasonable idea. Bishop g5. White can also try to develop the bishops in the opposite order to avoid black from castling. And that's bishop b5, c6, bishop g5. Now queen a5 though, which is another idea that black can get from if white develops in this order, with an interesting game. So bishop g5, castles. Now of course this queen can't be taken because of knight e3, while in the other line of course knight e3 wouldn't have been winning immediately, so castles wasn't possible. And now bishop b5, knight e3. And I can see this is probably going to end up with a drawn by repetition. This knight can't be snapped off because of this queen manoeuvre winning for black. So there's a lot of tactics in these positions. And here we've got a drawn by repetition. Boring, eh? So f takes g6 was one idea. I said the more complicated line was knight f2, pretty much forcing this queen to come out to a4. Now c6 loses. Seems like a natural move, but knight e5, attacking d7 and f7, forcing this, and then queen f4, attacking f7 and coming into d6 with a win for white. So b5, queen a5, trying to exploit this weakened diagonal. Knight e7 may be possible as well. Queen a5, bishop b6, blocking it off. Queen a3, b4 might be possible. d6. There's just so many possibilities for both sides here. Really complicated position. Knight e7. Again, I'm not sure about all these different bishop moves. Bishop here, bishop a6 is possible. These bishops can't be taken because of knight d3 check. Taking on b2, winning on pretty much everything for black. So maybe b4 is possible, I suppose, to stop black from playing it. Bishop g5. Now, maybe, I'm not sure about b4. Can take on g5. Well, it's just so unclear. b4. Really, really complicated. Anyone can win this game. Might let you have some fun analysing that for yourself. Yeah, even that line. If black doesn't want to go in for that sort of lottery, the other lines, as I mentioned earlier, give black lots of different choices there. So, that was e takes d4, giving black this chance to really complicate things with knight f6. C takes d4 is the other line, which leads to a little bit more of a sensible position. The bishop b4, knight c3. g6 might be a possibility here, as knight h5 can be answered by king f8, with the idea of bringing the queen out. For example, knight g7 I think can be answered now by queen d4. I'm taking on d3, so white has to be very careful there. But more natural seems d5. And now knight h5 is actually a mistake anyway for this same idea. And I don't really see any defence for white. Probably bishop d2 and then bishop d7 coming out here. a4 to stop bishop b5 check. d4. It's just crushing for black. So instead of knight h5, bishop b5 is probably the best move first, then knight h5. And I think we even looked at this exact position in the tactical video earlier on, and it leads to quite an unclear position. Queen comes into h3, which is black's really only tactic against this knight h5 idea here, forcing white to play this queen f3 king d1 manoeuvre. Well, actually, no, sorry, it doesn't force that at all. It is possible though to play king d1 here. f5 might be strong. Also g6 is possible, moving the king either to f8 or d8 with unclear chances. Also possible, however, is queen g2. After queen takes h2, knight takes g7. White does have a slight material advantage, a piece for a pawn. However, Black has a much freer, more easy position to play, better development, and I feel that gives him enough compensation. So that's c3. Lots of interesting positions we got in that line.